Today we are about to see the second unit poem Wind. Actually, the poem was written by the great Tamil poet Subramanya Bharati in Tamil. You know very well about Bharatiyar. From Tamil, the poem was translated into English by A.K. Ramanujan. He is a Kannada poet. He has written many poems and plays in both Kannada and English. He is well known for his translation. He translated many poems from different languages into English. He even got Sahitya Academy Award for his collection of poems. Let's go into the poem. The poem is written as a whole without any splitters stanzas. In the first few lines, Subramanya Bharati requests the wind to come and blow softly. Let's read the first few lines. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. Now, the poet says the wind in a requesting manner to come and blow softly. If it blows hard, it can break something, it can scatter something here and there. See the next line. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Shutters is nothing but on the windows, panels would be fixed either inside or outside so that we can close and open the window. When we want fresh air or sunlight, we can open the panels on the window. When we don't want that, we can close it. For security purpose also, we can close the panels which is fixed on the window. Now the poet says, when the wind blows hard, it can break those shutters. So he asked the wind to come softly so that it won't break the shutters of the windows. In the third line, the poet told, don't scatter the papers. When wind blows hard, surely the papers which is piled can scatter here and there. So the poet says, don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. At times, we might have neatly arranged the books on the shelf. When wind blows hard, fast, surely it can throw down the books which is on the shelf. So, at first, he requests the wind not to do all these mischievous activities. See the next few lines. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. So, from this line, we can understand even though the poet requested the wind to blow softly, it didn't obey the poet. It might have blown hard and fast so that it had thrown all the things down. The things which is arranged on the table or which is on the shelf might have fallen down. So the poet told, see what you have done. I have told you not to do all these things, but you have done everything like that. Just like a scolding manner, he says the wind. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. The wind, because of harsh nature, it had torn the pages of the books. The wind might have brought rain too. So the poet told, you brought rain again. And he also says, the wind is very clever. It is very intelligent. At what it was intelligent? It was intelligent at poking fun at weaklings. Poking fun means making fun of others. Uh, Most of the people, they'll make fun only at weak peoples. If we make fun at strong people, surely they may beat us and it would be harm to us. So we will make fun only at weak peoples. Just like that, the wind is also very clever. It was also making fun at weak persons or weak things. See the next lines in the poem. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling laughters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. It was fun making fun at all the weak things. Frail means weak. Frail, crumbling houses, the poet has told. Frail is weak. Grumbling is as if the piece was going to break into many small fragments. When wood or some other thing, when it was outside in sunlight and in rain, if it continuously drenches and get dried up, it is subjected to be easily broken up. So that's only grumbling. It was about to break. So weak, about to breaking houses, some of the houses it would be uh, too weak. Uh, so those houses and all, it was broken by the wind. So the wind has broken frail, very weak houses into pieces. And it has also broken doors, which was weak. Not only doors, it has also broken rafters. Rafters is the beam, the sloping beam which forms the inner part of the roof. In thatched house, in hut and all, you could see this rafters very clearly. Roof outside we will see. If you go inside the house, and from inside the house if you see the roof, you can see a big log of wood which forms that roof. So that rafters also broken by the wind. And wood, we can say the log of wood, else a group of trees forms also wood. Some of the trees which are weak, which has a weak trunk, it can also be easily broken by wind. So the poet says it has crumbled wood. It may be a log of wood or tree trunk. It has damaged not only the things just like houses, doors, rafters or wood. It has also made destruction to peoples. Crumbling bodies. When we have weak, when we are not much immune, surely the rain or harsh wind would affect our health. So it causes destruction to human bodies or even animals too. Grumbling lives. You could have heard some news that because of storm or something, much old people and all affected and they have even died, like that news. So it has grumbled human lives too. It has crumbled hearts, human heart too. When poor people's house gets damaged or when their dear ones are lost, surely their hearts would also be grumbled. So, wind, it was making fun of weak people and it was breaking all the weak things. It can be either a house, door, rafter, wood, or it can even be human body or animals or human lives and heart. Next, the poet said, the wind god winnows and crushes them all. Winnow, you might have heard this word already. This is an action by which we can separate grain from the husk. When there is much air, we can do this activity and we can separate grain from husk. So now, just like winnowing, the wind god is also winnows the weak people and crushes all the weak things too. He won't do what you tell him. The poet said, he is wind. Wind won't do what you tell him, because in the beginning of the poem itself, the poet has told in a humble way, don't break the shutters, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books, like these things. But wind didn't obey all these things. So the poet says he won't do what you tell him. What should we do to avoid all these things? We have to make everything strong because it was making only fun at big things. That's only the poet's suggestion. See the next lines. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. The wind can crush only weak houses, weak doors, weak rafters. So the poet calls all the people to come together. So let all the people together make strong homes, and they can join all the doors very firmly. Not only the house, we have to practice to firm our body to make it strong. We have to make our heart also steady, the strong one, so that wind won't do any damages to these things. Actually, wind doesn't refer only the physical wind. It is a symbol for the challenges or obstacles we human beings face in our life. So when we face some of the obstacles, strong people will easily overcome that. They will think of some of the solutions and they will solve that challenge and they will come out. Weak people only won't do anything and they may be submerged in the problems itself. So we have to make ourselves strong both physically as well as mentally, so that whenever we face some challenges in our life, we can save our life, we can win in our life. See the next lines. Do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. The poet asks us to do all the things which is said above. We have to make our homes, doors strong, and we have to make our body and mind also strong. If we do this, the wind will be friend with us. Even the obstacles and challenges in our life will be friend with us. It can help us because overcoming our challenges and hardships in our life, we can improve in our life, we can develop in our life, we can lead a life better than what we are already leading. So the poet says wind will be friend with us. He also says the wind blows out weak fires. It's true. If there is a weak fire, just like a matchstick or candle fire, it can be blown out easily with the help of wind. A light wind can easily blow out such weak fires. But strong fires, think of a forest fire or a very heavy fire. When there is wind, it can spread to many other places, and the fire couldn't be put out so easily. So, wind, it makes strong fires roar and flourish. It keeps on spreading from one place to another place, and fire increases there. See the last two lines. His friendship is good. We prize him every day. So, wind's friendship is good, the poet says. So, when we make everything strong, it would be friend with us. When we are strong, it makes us grow stronger and stronger, just like strong fire. The wind, it keeps on increasing the fire. So just like that, his friendship, wind's friendship is good. So we have to prize the wind every day. Each and every day we have to prize the wind. So when we face some of the challenges in our life, we should not blame them. We have to think and we have to solve those things. Then only our life will keep on developing. Let's move on into the figures of speech in the poem. The poem is not split into any of the stanzas and it doesn't follow any rhyme scheme too. So we can say the poem is written in free verse. The Wind poem is written in free verse. The figure of speech used in the poem is anaphora. Anaphora means when a word is repeated at the start of two or three more consecutive the following lines, we can say it's anaphora. Just observe the second, third and fourth line of the poem. Don't break the shutters, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books. So these three lines started with the word don't. So the same word is repeated at the starting of three lines. So we can say anaphora is used in these lines. See the 6th, 7th and 8th line. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You're very clever. So here you, the word is repeated at the starting of these three consecutive lines, next lines. So we can say anaphora is used here too. So we have seen two examples for anaphora. The next figures of speech used here is personification. You know very well what is personification. An inanimate object is imagined as if like a human being and set the actions of human beings. So here the poet, imagining the wind as if like a human being, he says, don't break, don't scatter, don't throw down, you tore, you brought, like that. He says everything just like human beings' action. So here personification is used. The next figure of speech used is symbolism. Here the wind is symbol for the challenges or obstacles we face in our life. So throughout the poem, the poet has used symbolism. I think you are very clear about the poem. I have given the poem in English as well as the Tamil, what was written by Subramania Bharati originally. Just read and enjoy.